Hello everybody, Daniel here, and welcome to Showdown Finale. We have reached the final episode of our extravaganza that has been going on all week, because X and Y is upon us tomorrow. I know, it's freaking insane. I remember just like it was the other day back in January when you saw the first notice video for it. That has actually come now, that's actually happening tomorrow. I know a lot of people have kind of got their copies early now as well. There's leaks all over the place now. Dear God, people have found absolutely everything in it. Even Cerebi got a hold of it just the other day. I haven't got my copy yet, so I'm kind of still waiting it out. So for me, it's still a day to go before X and Y. And that's not really going to change. Thanks, pre-orders at Extravision. Oh God. But we're looking at my signature team now from Gen 5. The one that I have loved and used pretty much the most for the entirety of Gen 5. Even used this a bit in Gen 4 as well. It's actually started off as a Gen 4 team that I just kind of fell in love with quite quickly. A revamp for Gen 5. And then I've used this for best part of 3 years now, and I've absolutely loved it. It's really going to be a shame to kind of see it go now that we have the new gen, new Pokemon to kind of replace some of these guys, see what the new Metagame's like. It is kind of sad that's going to happen, but at the same time, just excited as hell. So, one last time, let's recap on the team here. We've got our Life Orb Lucario here, going with his Sword Stance set, and actually having the Crunch, which catches a lot of people off guard. We have our standard Dragon Dance Tyranitar, just kind of that old set that catches people off guard once again. Very, very handy set. Absolutely love it. We have our Choice Scarf Jirachi here. Again, this is the only Pokemon that can actually learn a combination of a Trick, U-Turn, and Stealth Rock, which I was looking for. So Jirachi kind of fit the bill for that. That's why it's here. We've then got a Cresselia to set up screens. We also got our Rotom, just to kind of get some damage off in the form of Choice Specs. And we have our Stan, the Gliscor, with his trusty Flying Gem. That takes a lot of people just by surprise, and it's absolutely fantastic on things like Infernape when this thing just kills them outright. Absolutely love it. So yes, this is my signature team. And it's time for their final flight. We're going to be having a couple more battles, and then that's going to be it for Showdowns on this channel for a while. I got to wait for Gen 6 roster to actually be updated for Showdown. I have no idea when that's going to be, but it's going to be a bit on hiatus till that happens. So, let's jump into our final games with this team. Okay, and we have got our first team here. What are we up against this time? Well, a Violite Chansey, nothing new there, so that's definitely a specially defensive monster of some kind. Also got a Fortress as well, combined with the Chansey. That's really defensive core right there. So it's going to take a fair bit to actually break through them. Luckily we have Lucario who can do it both nicely, so that's okay. We then have this Thundurus to deal. I'm going to guess, just because he's got the Terrakion and the Gengar that the Thundurus, it might possibly be Choice Specs or Choice Scarf. Not entirely sure, but definitely going to go for a Choice. Maybe possibly a Life Orb, I'm not really Actually, yeah, it could be a Life Orb as well. Something here is Choice, something's Life Orb anyway. Then standard Gengar, so generally sub-disables what they run. And that's a Dragon Dance Gyarados, just kind of judging by the rest of his team. So I got a fairly good idea of what he's trying to go for here. And he's probably going to want to leave his Thundurus just to get some initial Volt Switch damage off. There's not much I can really do against that if that's what he decides to lead to. So I'm just going to actually lead straight with my Tyranitar and just kind of get my weathers up. I'm actually going to lead with the Fortress first, which is okay. It's a bit weird of a lead. He must be just kind of intent on getting up as many hazards as he possibly can. So I'm not going to reveal that I have Dragon Dance set. I'm just going to go straight for the Fire Punch, rack up as much damage as I can. He's just going to go for the Stealth Rock there, sure enough. And I'm just going to go straight for another Fire Punch. I'm not really going to be switching up my moves off of this. I just want to try and get as much damage off on that thing. And of course he's going to make the switch out to Terrakion here. So this thing, thankfully we do have our Gliscor here. We do also have our Cresselia. We could kind of just switch into this, set up some early game screens. The thing is, I don't really want to set up the screens just yet because I'm thinking that might just be able to get away with one screen here. So I'm going to wait a bit before I send that out to set up. So for now, I'm going to go straight into my Gliscor, predicting the inevitable close combat. Sure enough, there it is. Does a pitiful amount of damage. Now the Earthquake is blindingly obvious from my point of view, so he's probably going to switch out to his Thundurus or his Gyarados here. And I'm not really sure which one of those he's actually going to go to. And so what I'm probably going to do, I want to keep momentum. And if he switches to either of those, I don't want to use my Acrobatics just yet. My Acrobatics is ideally for the Gengar, because he's going to think that nothing can absolutely touch him with that. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm just going to scout him this turn. I'm just going to go straight for the roost. He's actually just going to go for the Gengar here, sure enough. Now then, the fact that he might be predicting that I can do absolutely nothing to him means that he might be in a position where he goes for the Shadow Ball. The only problem is, if he goes for the substitute first, then my acrobatics is going to do absolutely nothing to him. And that is a problem, because I can't afford to really waste an acrobatics, because that flying gem is going to do so much damage. I can't afford to just kind of waste it like that. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to switch back out to my Tyranitar. If he goes for a Shadow Ball and that, he really can't do too much damage to me. Sure enough, that's all he was kind of going for there, just the Shadow Ball. And he actually has the Black Sludge there, which really does signal to me that he does have the substitute disable set. It's what they kind of run, just the fact that he's got that. So the fact that he's got Shadow Ball, that means, I'm going to guess he also has Focus Blast on top of that. It's what they generally run. It's like a really standard Gengar set. Now, I'm not entirely sure what he's going to want to do here. There's nothing I really want to switch into, though. I guess that's one thing, because if he's going for the Focus Blast here, the only thing I can really take is Cresselia. If that does take it, he's just going to go for a Shadow Ball after and follow it up. So there's nothing on my team that can really take Bolt. So what I'm going to do is chance a Focus Miss and go for the Dragon Dance. He's actually going to reveal that he does have the substitute here. So now I'm going to launch off a Crunch on him. Now I do have Dragon Dance up, so that's fine. Actually, what I might do instead, because I know that Fire Punch will be enough to break through it, not going to reveal. Maybe I'll kind of confuse him, but just kind of go for the Fire Punch first. I'm not really sure, but let's just kind of go with it. Sure enough, actually, he's going for the Disable there, so that worked beautifully, because now the Fire Punch is disabled. It means that we do indeed have Crunch. That's really good. It means that we can actually do a bit more damage to him. The only problem is, because he has Terrakion, I'm almost predicting the switch to that to kind of get the Justified boost. So what I'm actually going to do is deliberately go for the Stone Edge instead, just in case. And he actually doesn't make the switch there, so that's fine. It was just me overthinking a bit. If he did go straight to that Terrakion, though, that would have been a really good play on his part, because I wouldn't have been able to accomplish much of it. We got away with it. We don't have to worry about it. Now he's going to go into his Fortress, so I've got no reason really not to go just for another Stone Edge. I know that... Oh, it just doesn't take him out. Oh, and he goes for the Gyro Ball. Oh, that's really unfortunate. That, honest to God, is... Oh, that's just sucks. Okay, well, Tyranitar's in such a position now where he's practically almost dead. Like, there's not much I'm going to be able to accomplish. I do have the Cresselia, thankfully, on my team, so I can get a Lunar Dance off. I'm just going to go for the Crunch here because I don't want to miss the freaking Stone Edge on this thing. I just want to get rid of it, and sure enough, we take that out. Disable is still in effect, so we still have to contend with that. And I'm not really sure what he's going to want to switch here. Probably... I'm going to guess that's probably just the Terrakion, because even with the speed, he might be able to outspeed. He actually goes straight for the Thunderous. Okay. So he's being very aggressive with that, and he does know that I have the Stone Edge. So I'm almost kind of expecting this guy to be faster than me. I honest to God am. Now, I could just be overthinking it here, because see, if he's indeed not faster than me, I could get off a great hit on him right now with Stone Edge. Honest to God, rack up so much damage. But I think my Tyranitar is just a bit too important right now to kind of sack like that. I don't really want to do it, so what I'm going to do is, predicting a Thunderbolt of some description, I'm going to go straight into my Gliscor and hopefully take that. He actually goes for the Hidden Power Ice, which, oh god, that was tragic. That's really bad. Oh no. Okay, well, it's not entirely lost just yet, because we do still have a Tyranitar kind of on hold at the moment, so that is quite nice for us. So I think this is a good idea now to go into my Cresselia and start setting up the screens, because the kind of the play that he can do now is, I'm expecting him to go into his Gyarados, and from there he's going to start setting up some Dragon Dances. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Reflect first of all, and he actually goes into his chance here. So this really does signify to me that he's going to want to go for the Toxic next. Just kind of standard chancy play. You know how it is. They always go for the freaking Toxic. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make out the switch to my Jirachi now, kind of anticipating this Toxic. He actually goes for the T-Wave instead, which is probably a better play on his part than kind of almost predicting that switch to my Jirachi. Now, this guy does have Choice Scarf. The fact that he did hit me, though, with the T-Wave there means that it's kind of pointless. I'm not really going to be able to do all that much with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trick this away, and he's actually going for the Seismic Toss now. So this is fine with me. It now means he's lost the Violet. He's stuck with a freaking Choice Scarf on a chance. He's not going to be doing significantly less damage. that's really good for me. He can go for another Seismic Toss if he wants. I'm just going to go for my Stealth Rock at this point, because if I get that set up, then I can do a significant chunk of damage to both his Thundurus and his Gyarados. He seems very intent on going for the Seismic Toss here. By the way, he's just still freaking going for it. So what I'm going to do this turn, because he is faster than me, yes, I'm being outsped by a Chansey, I know that's just a bit embarrassing. I'm going to go for the U-turn first, hopefully don't get the paralysis. Sure enough, we don't. That practically kills him, which is pretty freaking fantastic for me. And now what I'm going to want to do is... I really want to get... Okay, so I really want to get my Tyranitar in a really good health. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back out to my Cresselia, and I'm going to set up a light screen in case the Thundurus comes out. Now, I'm kind of expecting this guy just to want to keep kind of going for the Seismic Tosses, just to inevitably sack this guy. What I'm going to do anyway is I'm going to Lunar Dance after I set up my screens. So it doesn't matter if he keeps going for the S-Toss, because I'm sacking this guy kind of anyway. So let's go for the light screen here. We're going to see if he wants to switch, if he kind of like side switch it up. Sure enough, he's just going to stay and keep going for the S-Toss. That is perfect for me. It now means I've got my light screen up. My Reflect is going to wear off, I believe, in the next turn. So with that in mind, what are we actually going to want to do here? See, the main problem with my thinking now is I'm still not sure about that Thundurus, if it's possibly Scarfed or something. I know that there is some varieties that do kind of run it just because they're crazy. I don't really understand it, but I do genuinely quite fear it at this stage. So what am I going to want to do? I could alternately heal my Jirachi with this Lunar Dance, by the way, but I'm not sure how useful the Iron Head is going to be. Especially because I have the freaking Elviolet as well, which isn't really that great. And my Tyranitar is in such poor condition as well. I do kind of need to just heal up the Tyranitar. So I'm going to go for the Lunar Dance here. Sure enough, this guy is really intent on just going for the Seismic Tosses. He's really kind of wasting a fair bit of his time right now, so we're going to go straight into the Tyranitar. We get the nice Lunar Dance before we take Stealth Rock damage, meaning we'll be able to live that quite nicely. And now I'm going to set up my Dragon Dance. And sure enough, he's just really kind of going for the S-Toss. It's not going to do that much damage to me. It's kind of in a range where I can still kind of take it. Unfortunately, we do lose Reflect at this stage, and he does still have his Terrakion, which I probably should have considered just a bit better. I actually didn't think really about that. Might have even been a good opportunity to actually get my Jirachi back alive. Really wasn't thinking there. Okay, well, he's probably going to go for the close combat, so what I can do is... I know that even the Stone Edge from this range, I'm not going to be able to take him out, so I'm going to have to sack my Jirachi first of all. He's pretty much dead anyway. He wasn't going to live the Stealth Rock, so that's fine. And now what we can do is we can go into our Rotom here, and he's possibly going to predict the Hydro Pump. Now, even if he was predicting that, see what I'm thinking in his head, he wouldn't go straight to his Thundurus, because if the Hydro Pump landed, it would take a significant amount of damage. He would ideally go to the Gyarados, and for that reason, I'm going to go for the Volt Switch here. And sure enough, we actually called that beautifully there, as he goes directly into the Gyarados, so a Volt Switch is going to take that clean out. So that's pretty fantastic right now. Honest to God is. We do still have these two things to worry about though, and it is going to be quite problematic, because I'm really not sure how I'm supposed to best deal with these guys. So I'm going to switch into my Lucario, because I'm probably going to have to switch anyway, and this guy takes the least amount of damage from the Stealth Rock, so that's fine with me. I also do have the Extreme Speed here. So ideally what I'd want is for him to go with the Thundurus first, because that'll rack up a significant amount of Stealth Rock damage. Nope, he's just going straight for the Terrakion. Okay, right. Oh god. Okay, well, the close combat is quite inevitable, and the tragic thing about it is we are going to have to sack something to this close combat, because Lucario is definitely not going to live it. Tyranitar is not going to live it. Rotom might live the first one, but because he's slower, he'll die to the second one, which really doesn't benefit me. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to sack the Tyranitar here. We're just going to have to kind of go very... Sure enough, he's just going to go straight for the close combat. Now that he's got the defense drops, we might be able to... Well, actually, no, hang on, sorry. We're not going to want to go straight to Lucario just yet. Now is the good time to actually go into our Rotom here. And we are just going to go straight for the Hydro Pump here. We've got no real reason not to go for it. If he does switch into his Thundurus, he shouldn't take it all that nicely. And sure enough, he actually had a crit off on that Thundurus. That probably didn't matter too much though, considering that he was on about 69% health. We would have been dealing like significant amount of damage anyway, to the point where Sandstorm maybe even finished him off. So that may look like hacks, probably didn't matter too much. Now, I have to go straight for the Hydro Pump again, because sure enough, he's probably just going to go straight for the Ghost Gala. That minor defense investment is really going to kick off as we tragically miss the Hydro Pump. Oh, God, that was really unfortunate there. There is actually a slight bit of defense investment in that Rotom. Specifically, it's mainly for Infernates and in the Terrakion, just so it lives it. It's a real shame that we did miss that Hydro Pump there, because now we have to chance an Extreme Speed. I know I'm not faster than him, and it really does come down to if this Extreme Speed unboosted as well, if it's enough to take him out. I really don't know. We're going to have to go for it. He's definitely just going to want to go for Ghost Combat. Ah, that does a pitiful amount of damage. Oh, God. Oh, God. Lucario, no. Oh, died horribly in the end there, though. But that was a really good game, though. Honest to God, it was. There was a lot of prediction going on there. We did actually manage to get a couple of our calls really, really good. So even though I lost that, I'm quite happy with how that turned out. That was still a really good game. Yeah, maybe I was banking on that Extreme Speed too much. I completely forgot about the Rock type and how normal actually doesn't do that much to Rock. I really should have predicted that just a bit better. It was a good game anyway, though. It did say GG. He left immediately. I'm still happy with how that turned out. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, and oh my God, there's a lot of electric type resistance here. There's got a Jolteon, Donphan, and a Latias there. They're all going to be taking my votes, which is quite well, which is a bit problematic because it means I'm going to have less momentum than I usually like. But thankfully we do still have U-turn on our Jirachi, so that's going to be fine. So let's see what we've got here. We've probably got Dragon Dance Gyarados, can guess that right off the bat. Defensive Donphan. That could possibly be a Calm Mind Latias, maybe possibly a specially defensive Wall, that's what I'm going to kind of guess there. Possible Choice Specs Jolteon. Occasionally they are Choice Scarf. Most of the time Choice Specs though, because they've got high enough speed as is. That Scissor is probably just there kind of its priority and a bit of U-turn, so probably, I'm going to guess Choice Bandit even, just to kind of keep a bit of momentum. If not Choice Bandit, then Life Orb. That Reuniclus, Life Orb, or it's Trick Room. It's one of those. I'm going to get, it could be a combination of the two, of course, because that's a moveset and an item. But yeah, I'm going to guess it. Yeah, I'm going to guess it's one of those. If it is Trick Room, it possibly has the Leftovers or Life Orb. So, going to have to keep an eye on that one. Well, thankfully, U-turn here is going to be kind of handy, even if he leads with the Reuniclus. So I'm just going to lead straight with the Jirachi. He's actually just going to lead straight with his Scissor here. So he can't do too much damage to me if he just goes straight for the U-turn. Even if this guy's Choice Scarf, he's not going to be doing a significant amount of damage to me. So I'm just going to go straight for the U-turn. He could possibly even predict the Fire Punch. Actually didn't. Bit bad on his part, because Jirachi do normally run Fire Punch, but what are you going to do? I don't have it. And I'm going to go straight out into my Gliscor here just to take whatever the hell he wants to throw at me. Sure enough, he just goes straight for the U-turn there, so that is fine with me. And he's going to go to his Jolteon in possibly the most obvious statement of hidden power ice in your face I've ever seen. Like, dear God, could not be more obvious about that, man. So we are going to definitely just kind of need to switch out to something. I would like to get my sand up, and I know that I can kind of take whatever this Jolteon throws me with relative ease. So, you know, I'm just going to go straight for this guy, and sure enough, oh my God, it's hidden power. Wait, that did neutral. I thought rock resisted ice. Oh, okay. Sorry, just confused me a little there. Okay, well, we do know that he now has Life Orb. If he even goes for a T-Ball, he probably shouldn't be able to do too much damage to me. So if I do go for a Dragon Dance and I didn't follow it up with a Crunch, I do a significant amount of damage to him. The only problem is it's the fact that he has Scissor and the Donphan. They're two very defensive walls right now. I'm not going to be able to do a heck of a lot of damage to them, so it is a bit problematic. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to make the switch out to my Jirachi, and from there I can go for a U-turn. And he actually can go straight for his Donphan here. So this works fine. He's probably going to take this opportunity now to set up his Stout Rocks. It's kind of the best play for him right now. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I could actually trick him the Choice Scarf. And my reason for that is that Iron Head and this guy having the Choice Scarf, it's not going to do a lot of damage to ending. It might be kind of nice just for finishing off a couple of things, but in general, I don't really see it being of that much use. So I am going to lose it. He's probably going to go for the Stow. This is what I know it's a bit ballsy to kind of stay in the Donphan, predicting that it doesn't go for the Earthquake. a lot of Don fans do this, so kind of predicting the switch. I mean, it's kind of obvious for me to go into something, say my Cresselia or my Rotom Wash. Actually, Rotom Wash is actually really, really obvious right now. So I'm just going to take this opportunity to kind of trick away my item, because it's not really going to be that beneficial. I am going to be wanting to switch up my moves for this. And he's thinking quite a bit here, so we are going to trick him the Choice Scarf. We do get his leftovers. Oh, he went for the Earthquake. Oh, that's really bad. Well, okay, so he does have the Choice Scarf now. He's locked into Earthquake. We know that much. And so with that in mind, what can we actually do here? Okay, well, we can't go straight into Lucario. What am I talking about? We can't go into Lucario. Okay, let's go into our Rotom. So he's locked into Earthquake here with a Choice Scarf. So he's obviously not going to go for it again. That's really, really dumb if he does. And kind of predicting this switch now for the expected Hydro Pump. His Latias is probably the best thing that's going to take that. So kind of predicting that switch, what I'm going to do is go straight for the Volt Switch and just kind of get out of here. And sure enough, he goes straight for that Latias. That's fine. Did a significant amount of damage there. So kind of tells me that it's probably not too heavily, especially defensively invested. But did still do a fair little chunk of damage. That's quite nice. And now, I've got no idea what this kind of Latias is actually going to run in regards to its set. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go into my Lucario. My reason for this is most people forget that this thing has the Crunch. And even with the unboosted Sword Stance, that should be enough to kind of do a significant amount of damage to this guy. And I'm going to guess it's going to catch him off guard. I'm kind of expecting him to go possibly for a Calm Mind. Oh my god, he's got Hidden Power Fire. Okay, offensive Latias. You don't actually see them all the time. Whatever you're into, I guess. Lucario does look in a really, really dire situation right now. I am fully aware of that. We do have Lunar Dance on our Cresselia though, so I'm actually not that worried about it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go straight into my Gliscor, because he can go for either the U-turn or the Bullet Punch here. He actually goes for the Bullet Punch, so that's kind of his preference there. Now, we've racked up a fair amount of damage. I do want to keep my Gliscor kind of in good standing, because it's going to wall this guy quite nicely, as well as the Donphan as well. I do feel that it's going to be quite handy against that. So I'm going to go for the Roost here. He's actually just going to start spamming off the Bullet Punches. The fact that I now revealed Roost kind of signifies to him that like maybe he should kind of switch it up. I'm going to go for one more Roost, because if I go for anything else, then I'm going to be in, if he goes for another Bullet Punch Sentry, I'm going to be in a bad situation health wise. And now I can quite safely take two of them, which is pretty good for me. So okay, kind of expecting more just onslaught of Bullet Punches really. I'm going to take this opportunity to go for a Sword Stance, and this is actually where he's going to reveal that he does have the Gyarados. So the fact that we got our Sword Stance off here is actually quite nice, because even at this range, in Acrobatics with the Flight Gem, the fact that it's Sword Stance, it should be enough here. Oh my god, he has Ice Fang, but thankfully Gliscor is a defensive monster, so we are going to be able to take him out. And yeah, Acrobatics, like even at that range, it does an awful lot of damage, it honest to god does. And people do underestimate that Gliscor actually has surprisingly good attack. We do have to contend with this Donphan now. This Donphan does have the Choice Scarf from earlier. It's most likely going to go for the Ice Shard here. And the fact that he's going to have to switch after it is actually kind of my opportunity, my best opportunity to go into my Cresselia and set up my screens. Sure enough, there is the expected Ice Shard. No surprises there. Now, he could go straight into his Scissor first, so that's why I'm going to do the Reflect first and not the Light Screen. We'll do the Light Screen after, dependent on what he does. Let's just kind of go for it now. Sure enough, there is the expected switch into Scissor, and we do have our Reflect up, which is quite nice now, because a lot of our team is looking in pretty bad health right now, let's be honest here. Both the Gliscor and my Lucario in bad situation. My Gliscor I can heal up provided I get the right opportunity. Ideally against the Donphan, because it is choice locked and I can resist if it goes to Earthquake. The fact that we have Reflect now means that we can take whatever the hell he really wants to go for. So I'm going to go into my Rotom, because I should be able to take this quite nicely. And sure enough, actually, yeah, I take that really well. So that's pretty good. Best switch on his part now would probably be, it's either the Jolteon or the Reuniclus. The Reuniclus, it really depends if he has the Energy Ball or not. Otherwise, it's most definitely the Jolteon. The nice thing is, even if he goes for the Jolteon here, I might just be able to live a hit. This is the thing, I'm kind of going to have to bank on this just a bit. And if I go for the Hydro Pump here, I should be able to do a significant amount of damage to him. I don't have a lot of options right now, so I am going to have to go for this Hydro Pump. Sure enough, he's just going to go for the ton of bulk. Oh, and tragically, we do not have enough bulk to actually live that. So, okay, I guess that was me overestimating that just a tad. Well, this does give us a nice switch into Cresselia now, at least. So what I can do is I can go safely for the light screen. He's actually going to reveal that he has a Shadow Ball here, so not too concerned about that. Shadow Ball didn't really do all that much damage, even though it was super effective. So almost bank on this. I could potentially go for the Psychic and take this thing out, but he could alternatively switch straight into his Scissor. And the idea is, if I go for Lunar Dance first, actually, even an E-Speed from my Lucario with his kind of range, it should ideally be enough to take it out. So yeah, I'm going to go straight for the Lunar Dance here. He's actually going to go into his Reuniclus here, actually reveal that at long last. So that's good. And we have an ideal opportunity now to heal up our Lucario. Pristine condition. Now then, we do have the screen here, and the Psychic is the best play for him. People do forget about Crunch though, and I know for a fact that a Swords Dance with a Crunch, it's enough to take this guy out. So I am going to bank on my screens. The fact that we have Steel type, it means that it's going to be doing neutral damage. It's still going to hit us quite hard, even with the screen, but I am going to have to bank on this. So we are going to go for these Swords Dance here. Goes for the Focus Blast. He misses, so that's even better, because now we just don't have to worry about that. Let us go for that Crunch, and hopefully he's going to just kind of forget that's a thing. Oh, God. And okay. Oh, that's fine. Okay, so that must be a defensive Reuniclus of some variety. The fact that he just lived that hit signifies to me that he is, in fact, defensive. So what we're going to want to do here is we're going to need to go for another Crunch just to kind of take out this thing. Now, tragically, we have lost a lot of our health as Lucario here, and we did actually lose the Reflect there as well, which means a Bullet Punch from a Scissor is possibly enough to actually take us out here, which I am a bit concerned about. Now, we do have the ×4 resist on this, so that is the thing. We are fighting Steel type. But if he does go for it, just because of the sheer offensive prowess of Scissor, it might be enough just to take us out. And this is another thing here. So, okay, so I'm not sure about this Donphan. How fast it's actually going to be. We do know that it has the Choice Scarf from earlier because we locked it into that quite nicely. I'm honestly not sure if we're going to be able to take it out, even with a close combat and +2. And in fact, oh god, what am I even saying? I'm sorry, I'm kind of rambling just a bit. I'm all over the place. I'm losing my focus here. Okay, alright, let's take that again. What I'm going to do here is, predicting the Earthquake, I'm going to go straight into my Gliscor, because I know that he's choice locked here. So now he's forced to switch, and this gives me the ideal opportunity just to go for the Roost once again. Now, ideal play for him would actually have been to go to the Jolteon there, because we already established that Bullet Punches were not enough on his Scissors part to take me out. So I'm going to go for a second Roost here, just kind of predicting the Bullet Punch. So that is fine with me. And now that we're in this range of health, what I'm going to do this turn is I'm not going to go for the Swords Dance because he might make the switch directly into Jolteon. So what I am actually going to do is I'm going to go straight for an Earthquake here, kind of predicting that switch. And sure enough, that worked really well. Okay, so he was banking on us to kind of Roost again there, but we kind of saw through that. We predicted it, and because of that, we did manage to get past it. Now, an Ice Shard, even from this Donphan, it's not going to be doing a lot of damage. So I know for a fact I'm going to be able to live one hit. I just am. It's a Donphan. It's not that heavily investive attack-wise. And we did even see from the Gyarados, which has even more freaking attack than a Donphan, it didn't kill me with the Ice Fang because it was non-stab. So I'm going to go for the Roost here, and I'm just going to almost scout the Ice Shard. Now, sure enough, that only did 35% damage, so we healed that off quite nicely. Now we're building ourselves into a situation where we can start going for the Sword Stances, and he's probably going to start banking on crits now. So we got him in a really nice situation right now, so let us go for the Sword Stance. On this turn, we are going to have to Roost, just because we're in a bit of a dangerous spot, and I'm going to Roost one more time, just so I get up to good enough amount of health. Sure enough, he's just going to keep going for the Ice Shards right now. I do kind of want to get to better range though. The reason being is Bullet Punches from the Scissor are going to be a bit of a problem as soon as we take out this Donphan. So one more Roost ought to do it, and he's doing about 40% damage, which means I'll be left on about 55%. It means even if he goes for 2 Bullet Punches on his Scissor now, I should be able to take it. So let us go for an Acrobatics. It is slightly more stronger than our Earthquake. Let's see how much damage we can do to that thing. A very nice, respectable amount there. 56% we managed to take off, and he's just really kind of banking on those crits now. Dear God, we are going to have to keep going for the risk. I know it's a bit dodgy, the kind of, because that risk of the crit is really apparent here, and it's really bad because if he does get out, we're in a very tight spot as Bullet Punch from his scissor will take out most things on his team. But no, sure enough, we managed to do outlast him there. We couldn't really switch, and we do manage to win the game there. So that was a really good game once again. I'd say it, but he left already. Everlasting or is not really that everlasting. He's already disappeared. And because this is the finale, although we've had 2 games already that have gone on quite a bit, I'm going to do one more because this is the final time we are going to be seeing any Gen 5 competitive metagame for a good little while. Like, honest to God is. I'm still not sure how long it's going to take till Showdown updates. There's a really impressive sprite and kind of effort and movement that's going on in Showdown, by the way. It's in the Smoggin Forums. Smoggin Forums? Yes, that's a word. No, forums. It's going on in the Smoggin Forums right now, and I really recommend that you actually check it out. I'm going to put a link to that in the description. It's really cool, because what they're trying to do is they're trying to sprite all the Gen 6 Mega Evolutions and new Pokemon. So, ideally, so Showdown doesn't have to do so much of a revamp to get all the 3D models that have now kind of come out. So, it's really cool to kind of see happening, and they are really kind of just tearing through it. Like, there's a lot of sprites already about the place. My personal favourite being the Mega Lucario, of course. Really do like that one. But there's a lot of cool sprites that are going on, so it's really cool to see. Do check it out. It's really fun. And so, let us move on to the next game. Okay, and the final team that we are going to be up against. Once again, another Jolteon. There's a lot of Volt Absorb going on today. So let's see what we've kind of got here. So the Jolteon, I'm going to guess even as Choice Specs or Life Orb, just kind of going on off the past experiences of battles. We've then got this Espeon here, which is kind of here for Magic Bounce, I guess, because he doesn't seem to have a spinner. Well, he doesn't have a spinner, I know. What am I talking about? And on top of that, he might just want to set up screens, potentially with the Arcanine as well. I know that they do really appreciate screen support. It's really, really good for them to have it. So I'm going to guess that that's a pair that he wants to do there. Now, there's nothing in his team that really screams that it does have a choice scarf, though. Like, he does really seem to be relying on the speed of the Jolteon, the Espeon here. Possibly the Gyarados as well, because it does have Dragon Dance, so going to have to be a bit aware of that. That Arcanine is going to be a bit problematic, by the way, because we, essentially, to deal with that Arcanine, we need to have Reflect up. If we don't have Reflect, we're in a really tight spot. Honest to God. So we are going to have to be aware of that. And I'm going to have to leave my Jirachi, by the way, because he does have the Breloom. If he does leave it, I want to get as much damage as I can off on it. Sure enough, he does. So this is grand for me. I'm just going to go straight for a U-turn, get off as much damage as I can. Only 36%, which is a bit disappointing. So he's probably just going to go straight for the Spore. So the question is, what can we appreciate kind of putting to sleep? And it may not really look it, but I think Tyranitar is possibly the ideal candidate here. Just the reason being that the Dragon Dance Gyarados, it's going to be a problem to it. The, do it the Arcanine fine. The Jolteon might be a problem depending on what hidden power it has. So it might just be an idea. Actually, wait, no, it'll waste a Lumberry, actually. Yeah, it'll just go for a double Spore almost. And the fact that we've got it in as well, it could possibly just go for the Mach Punch or something like that. Just to be random, I'm not sure. But thankfully we do also have our Cresselia here, so whatever we do put to sleep, we can kind of just abuse its position, if you will. So with that in mind, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for the Rotom. The reason being that there's a lot of his things on the team that are going to resist this Rotom. So we do have the Water Absorb here and the Volt Absorb. This Rotom in general is going to be quite badly resisted, and for that reason I think it's okay to kind of put it to sleep. So we can safely go out into our Gliscor now. We've really got nothing to fear on this thing. It shouldn't be able to rack up enough damage on us. Depends on what kind of set it wants to go for next. Hasn't revealed the Poison Heal there, so it doesn't have the Toxic Orb, which kind of says to me that it's more of a Technician Breloom, because that's what it is if they don't have the Poison Heal going. So that's really good to know. He's actually going to make a switch out to his Jolteon there. So Hidden Power Ice, it's a thing. We got to be aware of it. We do have a Jirachi, which takes it incredibly nicely thanks to its Steel type. And sure enough, he just goes straight for it. Resisted hit there. That's fine. So I haven't really got much to worry about there. Now I do kind of want to lose my Choice Scarf here, by the way, as well, because it's not going to do that much for me. Because, again, just looking at the composition of his team almost. Well, actually, I suppose the Espeon, it will do significant amount. Everything else on this team, it doesn't really seem to do much to. This is actually a really bad time to realize, well, I used to run Thunder Punch on my Jirachi. The sole reason being that I've got so many problems with Gyarados. I'm really bad at dealing with them. It's actually a really bad time to realize that I don't in fact have it. I should probably look into that. I could really appreciate that, having that Thunder Punch there. What I'm going to do here, though, is I am going to go for the trick, kind of whatever switches it. So actually, getting it off in his Jellicent, it's probably actually one of the better things I could have got off him. So he probably still doesn't have enough speed to kind of do anything to me. So that's actually really handy for me, because it means this is almost like an opportunity for me to just get up my Stealth Rocks. I'm kind of predicting him to switch in just to get me with a Shadow Ball or something. Sure enough, he does. So I have successfully gotten up my Stealth Rocks now, which is fantastic considering he does have that Magic Bounce SP on there. So that's really good for me. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go straight for the U-turn, because I am indeed faster than him. I don't have to worry about it. And he is locked into Shadow Ball at this point. So what I could do is, if I go into my Lucario here, and I can successfully set up a Sword Stance, I haven't really got much to fear. Sure enough, pitiful amount of damage, fine with me. Now the problem that this Lucario is going to face is in the form of that Arcanine. That Arcanine is going to be incredibly problematic. Base speed wise, we should be faster than it, but there is a possibility that it's Choice Scarf or something. I'm not entirely sure. See, Arcanine's one of those painfully average stat Pokemon. It's very difficult to remember what all its stats actually are. So I'm going to go for a Sword Stance here, and he's actually going to go straight out to his Breloom. So this works great. The reason being that extreme speed, even from this range, it's enough to take out a Breloom. I've been in this situation plenty of times. It's just enough. So that's fantastic. It means that we deal with that. It means that essentially once we get our Rotom woken up later, we don't have to worry about Spore anymore. So that's pretty fantastic. He is now going to go out into his Arcanine. The question is, do I want to chance the speed here? So the Flare Blitz, painfully obvious right now. Like, it honest to God is. And the thing is, if I do chance the speed here, if I chance it and if I win it, it puts me in a really strong position. But if I lose it, I do lose my Lucario, and that will put me in a much weaker position, because this Lucario, it can do an awful lot of damage to pretty much everything on his team. So I think what I'm going to do, just for the fact that I'm going to scout, because Arcanines generally run this Life Orb set, and they'll go for the Flare Blitz. He's going to take heavy recoil damage, right? So with that in mind, and the fact that he might not even in fact have Crunch, I'm going to go initially out to my Cresselia to take the first physical hit that he wants to do. Sure enough, it's a Flare Blitz. That's going to do a nice bit of recoil damage to him. And he does have the Life Orb here as well, which is grand. This turn around, I need to go to my Gliscor. The reason being is that he possibly has the Crunch. And if he has the Crunch, then I'm not really going to take all of that. Although, even judging by the Flare Blitz here, we might actually take it reasonably well if we go for Reflect first. So actually, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go for Reflect here, because this will significantly restrict his Arcanine, and he's actually going to make a switch out to the Jellicent here. So I have to be aware that this guy does still have the Choice Scarf. Choice Scarf, still, he's probably going to play it to his advantage. I've really got to be aware of that. He's most definitely going to go for the Shadow Ball. He's got no reason really not to go for it. And because Lucario took it last, I'm wondering if I should go out to my Tyranitar this time to kind of take, and just to actually get up the sand, because I think the chip damage, especially with the Arcanine now, the fact that it's taking so much recoil and Life Orb, I think actually, yeah, getting the Tyranitar out right now, getting the sand up, it's going to put me in a better position. He's actually going to go for the Scald here. So this is actually okay with me. The reason being, I do have a Lumberry, so I don't fear it. So I'm going to go straight for a Dragonlance here. I've got nothing to fear from this guy. I am now most definitely faster than him. Tragically does get a crit off of me, and I am left with 2%. This is a huge problem because Arcanine does have extreme speed now. So if that crit hadn't happened, we would have been in a much better stand. Thankfully though, we can just go for the Crunch now. We can deal with that Jellicent, so it's no longer a problem. He's most definitely going to make the switch to his Arcanine now, because he does have the extreme speed. He's got no reason really not to do it. And what we are going to have to do now is we are going to have to switch out. Tragically, we can't stay on this thing because extreme speed is going to kill us. The question is, what do we want to go for? And I do honestly think that if I do go for a Lucario here, cause he'll be able to take the first hit nicely because it's Reflect and Steel type. It's probably not going to go for a Flare Blitz on this. That'd be really weird on his part. Of course he's going for the E-Speed. Thanks to the Life Orb recall now and Sandstorm, we are now in a position where it's not viable for him to switch, so we've guaranteed that his Arcanine's dead. So let's just go for the Extreme Speed now and we can finish that off. So that's very nicely disposed of there, so that's no longer a threat, which is, thank God as well. Arcanine's really problematic. And now he's going to go out into his Espeon. And he could potentially go for a Psychic type attack here, or he could just go for starting to set up screens. I'm honest to God not too sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this opportunity to kind of revive my Tyranitar, because now that the Arcanine's been dealt with, the Breloom's gone and the Jellicent, Tyranitar is in a really strong stand now. The only thing that could kind of resist it is if the Gyarados has already set up a Dragonlance. Everything else it should be fine with. So I am going to take this opportunity, and I am going to switch out to my Cresselia, kind of predicting the Psychic, even if he goes for the Hidden Power, which must have been Fire, because why else would you have gone for it? So we're still in a very nice stand here. So let us go for the Light Screen the first turn. After that, we should be able to take another hit quite nicely, and we can then go for a Lunar Dance. Oh, but he has Signal Beam! Okay, that's actually really cool. You don't see that often. And tragically, we have now lost both our screens. We don't have an opportunity now to heal our Tyranitar as well. So this does put us in a weaker standing than we were. So we're going to have to be quite careful now. And we did lose our, our Choice Scarf earlier, which is going to be really problematic for our Jirachi if we send that directly in. Ideally, our Rotom will be best to deal with it, but the problem is the Rotom is asleep. So I guess what I'm going to have to do is, okay, because I've got no real counter to his Espeon right now, and because my Rotom is asleep, and he does have the Life Orb as well, and there's Sandstorm, this is almost an ideal time for me to kind of just get as much chip damage off of him as I can, and potentially wake up as well. So that's exactly what I'm going to go for here. Now, he hasn't even showed his Jolteon yet, so I've got no idea what kind of set's going to be running. The fact that he's had 2 Life Orbs so far, I'm going to guess his Choice Specs. So that's good for us. It means that possibly after a Dragon Dance, we might be able to take it out. So I'm going to have to just kind of stay in. Sure enough, he's going to kind of go for the Side Shock here. He's racking up a nice amount of recoil damage. So that's really good for us. And the fact that he went for Side Shock as well, this gives us another opportunity because we can actually go into our Tyranitar and rack up some extra Sandstorm damage. Now my idea here is I'm trying to get it to the point where an Extreme Speed from my Lucario is most definitely going to be enough to kill it. And so if what I can do here is... Oh, excuse me. What I can do here is if I go to my Tyranitar, predicting the Side Shock, the Dark typing is going to resist that hit, so it's going to do no damage. Sandstorm's going to give it extra chip. Now, after the next attack that he hits me with, he is going to be in a range where I should just be able to take him out with an E-Speed. The problem is that I do have to sack something to get him to that range first. So the move of choice for him, actually ideally here is move of choice, it's probably Signal Beam. It honest to God is. Just the fact that I've got this guy in Hidden Power Fire, it will be a bit weird just because I've got something that can take it. The Rotom can take it quite nicely. So I'm going to predict the Signal Beam here and kind of make a ballsy switch. I know he has the Hidden Power Fire, but I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go for predicting the Signal Beam. And, oh, no! Oh, I called that badly. Oh, no, I shouldn't have done that. That was a stupid risk. I could have avoided that. Apologies, seriously, that was a really stupid play on my part. That may have even cost us the game there. Like, we really needed our Lucario there. The Extreme Speed is going to do us so much damage because I know this guy's going to be faster, even than my Jirachi, which is a huge problem. And we do have leftovers there. I am going to go for the Iron Head. That's no real reason to actually switch. Sure enough, it's just going to go straight for the Hidden Power, just racking up a significant amount of damage to me and leaving us in really pitiful amount of health. I guess the only benefit is that we do have Stealth Rock, so when he does eventually go into his Gyarados, he is going to take a significant chunk of damage. But we do now have this Jolteon to deal with. And this is a problem. This is a real problem here, because I've got no real means to deal with this guy. He most definitely has the Hidden Power Ice. Just because it's a Jolteon, like, why wouldn't they have the Hidden Power Ice? Oh god, we're in a really tight spot right now. Okay, I'm going to go for the U-turn. I'm really not sure what he's going to do. He's actually going to go for the Volt Switch, so this will work well for me because I know he has to switch to the Gyarados. And the fact that he has to go into the Gyarados here, and because he's probably going to go straight for the Dragon Dance, if I go to my Gliscor, because, like, well, if I go straight to my Gliscor, he's probably going to go for the Dragon Dance, kind of anticipate me not to do anything. But I do have the Flight Gem Acrobatics. The question is, will it be enough to take out the Gyarados from that range? And honestly, I'm not too sure. I honestly got ammoned because he's got an awful lot of health. I know there's going to be a huge amount of power because it is the Flying Gem Acrobatics and you use the Flying Gem and then Acrobatics effects kicks in. I'm still, honest to God, not too sure. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my Tyranitar. And I'm going to try to go for the Stone Edge here. I might just be faster. I'm really banking on that I'm faster here. If I get the Stone Edge in, then I might just stand a chance. No. He seems intent on just going for that waterfall there, so that's kind of tragic. And we're left with a freaking We're left with a crippled Rotom and a Gliscor, and he's already decided to go for Waterfall, which means that he could potentially go for it again. So I do stand a chance of actually living this hit. That is one thing to actually consider here, because it's a full health Gliscor, oh, it's a defensive monster. So I might just live this. I've got no other option here. I have to go straight for the acrobatics. I don't have time to set up a sword stance. I know he's faster than me. Let's go for the acrobatics. He's going for the Dragon Dance, so this actually works really well, and we're going for the acrobatics. Oh! No! Oh, it's so close. Oh, and he's definitely going to just go for it. No. Well, it was a good run. Oh god, yeah, even 4 times resist on the Rotom. It's not going to be enough to take it. As defensive as a monster Gliscor is, I can't live this. The only bit of hope I have, right? Waterfall has 95% accuracy. So if he misses this Waterfall, it is the only chance I have. Oh my god, I lived that. Oh wow, that. Wait, so he must not have been adamant nature. Just the fact that I lived that then. Okay. But we're still in a really tight spot. That's the problem. And we've got this freaking Jolteon to deal with. Oh, I'm gutted about that. The fact that we could have actually lived the Gyarados hit, it means let's just go for an Earthquake. Maybe we'll by fluke or by chance miraculously live this. No. In Power Ice. What the hell did he say? Okay. Fuck you. No, I don't actually mean that. But seriously, who laughs like that? You must have like the intelligence of a mashed potato or something, dear god. Okay. That was still a really good game though. I know I didn't lose that one again as well, but it did really kind of come down to the wire, and there was a lot of kind of prediction that's going on as well. Again, I'm really happy with how that turned out. And yeah, although I may have not won either of those games, here, let's just go over the team review here. Whoop! Although I may have won 2 of those games there, I'm still really happy with how the last run of this team has actually gone. Honest to god, I am. I know it could have gone like better with kind of like a heroic win towards the end, but I'm still happy. It's like those were really good matches. Those definitely been some of the better ones I've had. It's really just almost like demonstrating the amount of prediction, like thought I've actually kind of put into Pokemon Battle as a whole now. I mean, seriously, I've really kind of upped my game for 5th gen. I've really been happy how just things have turned out for this generation. So yeah, I'm really happy with this team, and I'm really going to remember it. I am going to revamp it for Gen 6. And this has been Showdown Sunday for until this series returns. So I hope you guys freaking enjoyed it. Seriously. It's like, this is the end of Pokemon Commentaries. I know it's been kind of short-lived because I only got back into it as soon as I got back from the interrail and traveling exams and all that. But I really have enjoyed this. I know it has been short-lived, but I've had a lot of fun making these episodes, like especially finding the music and that, kind of thinking of teams every week, then trying to focus on commentating skills. I genuinely have enjoyed that, and like the commentating skills as well. That's something I can use for TF2. That'll hopefully put some fresh life for that game. I've been having a bit of a hard time lately with TF2, just trying to play Spy and whatnot. Been a bit difficult, but yeah. I've really had fun with this series, guys. You can probably tell it if you've been watching like most of the Pokemon videos. I've seriously had fun with this. I don't often do this, but if you did like Showdown Sunday, like for the run that I had, like Season 1 essentially of Showdown Sunday until it returns with 6th gen, I would really appreciate a like on this one, guys, if you did enjoy it. I don't normally ask her, but seriously, if you did enjoy it, then please leave a like on this one. Because it has been an absolutely incredible blast. Like, I've really enjoyed this. And until Showdown updates with the 6th gen roster, that is it. So goodbye, and thank you so much for watching, everyone. I wish you all the very best of luck in Pokemon X and Y tomorrow. If you've already got it, then by all means, like, plow on ahead with those Mega Evolutions. Seriously, I hope you're having a blast. Try not to leave any spoilers in the comments. That's not nice. Some people are still waiting for tomorrow. They don't want to spoil it. Yeah, I do wish you all the best for X and Y, and I will make a notice video for how I'm actually getting on in X and Y. I think I will do that. Maybe in the form of a vlog or even a story time on Pokemon. I think I'll do that. And I'll let you know, guys, just know how I'm going. I'll even do a couple of trades and a couple of Wi-Fi battles. I'll definitely get my friend code up on the channel, by the way. That's been something I've been meaning to do. I forgot to do it for Gen 5. I will do it with Gen 6, so you'll be able to battle me whenever the hell you like. Won't be able to record it, but it'll definitely be fun. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.